everybody, how you doing? This is Alex with the Linux Tube. I'm coming at you guys with a new distribution overview on my channel. It's called Void Linux. It is its own Linux distribution. It is not a fork of any kind. It uses the run init system. It does not have systemd in it at all. So let's go ahead and jump right on in and take a look at it and see how it works. And so here it is. Once you log in, this is what it looks like. This is what you're greeted with. It does download on the ISO with the XFCE desktop. You can install other desktops such as KDE Plasma, i3, GNOME, all the major Windows ones are out there. That's available, and you download it through its package manager. So let's go ahead and take a look at their web page to see what they say here. So you go to the voidlinux.org, and this is their web page. Pretty sleek. I like the color schemes. I like the plainness of it. It doesn't have a lot of pomp and stance in it. You know, it's just pretty straightforward. Void Linux. Okay, it's a general purpose operating system based on the monolithic Linux kernel. Its package system allows you to quickly install, update, and remove software. Software is provided by the binary packages or can be built directly from source with the XBPS-source packages collection. It is not a fork, as I said, as it says right here. It's not a fork. Void Linux is an independent distribution developed entirely by volunteers. Unlike trillions of other existing distributions, Void is not modified of any distribution. Void's package manager and build system have been written from scratch. It's a stable rolling release. It focuses on stability rather than on being bleeding edge. Install once update routinely and safely. Thanks to our continuous build system, new software is built into the binary packages as soon as it changes and are pushed to the Void backups repository. Run it. They use the run it system instead of the systemd. They use C library for their code. It's built on MUSL and the GNU Linux. They're both type C coding systems. XBPS is their native system package manager. It stands for X binary package system. It works quite well. That uses similar commands to the Synaptic Package Manager, you know, except you type in XBPS install or XBPS dash remove, XBPS dash install, and you give other flags in it like XBPS install dash capital S for sync, which means it will sync the repository to give you the most updated version. And then Y for to be unprompted. In other words, you don't have to type yes or anything like that. It'll just automatically install it all for you. So to download it, you click on the download tab up here, and you can go down here. They got the base live image, they got the live image, the root FS ball, and here's the XFCE one that you can download. So I just clicked here on the download the live image. You click on it, and it takes you right there to where you want to download it. So you can either save file or cancel, but I've already downloaded it and installed it. So at any instance, that is pretty much it. Packages. What's nice about the package tab here is, say you want to download Kdenlive. Okay, you're not sure if it's in their package manager or not because by default, their repo, the Void Linux repo, only does FOSS software. It does not do anything that is non-free, like Chrome browser is not in there. So if you type it, it's not going to be in there. However, like Kdenlive, let's type in Kdenlive, and it's going to give you every Kdenlive package that's in the repository that has Kdenlive in it. So another one, let's type in GIMP and search. Bam. See, it's got everything that has any type of GIMP or GIMP uses in there. So as a rule, this is how you can find out if the package that you're wanting to use is available. If it's not in there, then you're going to have to install the non-free repository, which a simple Google search will tell you exactly how to do all that. And I might make a series of videos on here on how to use a package manager on this distribution, as well as how to install other desktops as well. So that being said, that may be something further down the road. If you want me to do something like that, please go ahead. Like, comment in the comment section if you want me to do a particular desktop to show you. I do know that they have the KDE desktop Plasma. It's KDE 5. They have the GNOME desktop, which is the GNOME 41, and the i3 Windows Manager desktop in there, along with the Sway compatibility for the i3, so it'll use the Wayland, because this is using the Wayland package on here. So at any instance, that's a look at their webpage. It's very nice. It's very helpful. It's extremely resource intensive. You got the man pages over here, which can tell you exactly how to do whatever you want. You can look up whatever you want on the man pages. You just type here in the search, and it's good to go. Any documentation is under the documentation, which is basically everything there is to it about how to even install it. Now, installing it, I will tell you right now, it uses a like my Devon that I did, it uses a DOS-based graphical installer. So with this one, the partitioning, you actually have to partition the hard drive into two partitions, because you have to enable EUFI. And you have to do a 100 megabyte partition and set it to a EFI system, and then you have to do the rest of it as your Linux file system, which I chose. You can choose ext4, you can choose BTRFS, you could choose ext3, 2, and a couple other ones that are in the drop-down menu. And I am going to do a follow-up video on a walkthrough on how to install this. A lot of people. I use Virtual Manager for my virtualization, my VMware, and you have to enable the EFI, and I will do that, show you how to do all that with Virtual Manager, as well as install this distribution. Now, let's go ahead and dive in. If you click over in the upper left-hand corner on Applications, it's just like any XFCE desktop. You've got your drop-down menu that comes out that has all your software, from run programs, terminal emulator, which it uses the XFCE4 terminal, down to your web browser, which as we open it up, we'll go back and open it up real quick. We're going to do the about on that, and you're going to see that it's actually a little outer dated Firefox. It is a 91.1, which Mozilla in the bleeding edge stable release that they're using right now is at 100. So this one, is a little bit on the outdated side. However, it works well. It's fast. It's smooth. You can set it up just like you can with your other Firefox. I just believe that some of the buttons are moved around. I personally am not a Firefox guy. I use Brave, but in doing this video, I've found where you can change themes and that kind of stuff. So as I said, it usually comes with that blinding white, and it's god awful. So I changed it to the dark theme, and it looks beautiful now, and it runs very nice. So that's your Firefox. Now, in your settings, of course, it's got all your usual settings, from screensaver, which it has installed, to your desktop display. Uses ARander, as you can see. It pops up to ARander, which of course you could do XRander through the terminal to set your resolution and such. So at any instance, for accessories, I've installed a couple of them. Like I installed GVim and NeoVim just to test a couple of installation processes in the command line in the package manager. Development, graphics, it's got Risotto image viewer, internet, has a Firefox web browser. It doesn't come loaded with a lot. Some other ones will give you 2 internet browsers, as well as you get your transmission, your torrent downloader. In multimedia, you've got basically your media player, which is the Parole one, and then the PAVU, the pulse audio volume control. It doesn't even come with like VLC or any media player like that for movie players or anything like that. In your system, it's got your typical, your bulk rename. I installed HTOP. It did not come with that. Octo XBPS is something you have to install, and that in itself is a graphical package manager. Now, understand that by nature, Void Linux is meant to be a command line driven distribution. In other words, to do things it wants you to do outside of launching the already prepackaged and installed and compiled software that comes in its standardized menu. Anything added, like you want to add anything, you have to go to their XBPS package installer to install it. It doesn't come with a graphical user installer. However, there is one that you can install called Octo XBPS, and it is very similar, and in fact looks and feels just like the Synaptic Package Manager. It's a fork of that. So, and then you got your system monitor, then you've got your task manager. Thunar is a file manager by default, and like I said, XFCE4 terminal is the one that is available in this one. If you want to add any of these other ones, you can either go to the Octo XBPS or you can install it from the command line. Now let's go ahead and open up the Octo XBPS so you can see. The Octo XBPS right here, see? It looks just like your Synaptic Package Manager. You basically install whatever it is that you want, or type it in whatever package it is that you want. So let's try VLC, because we know that that's a free and open source one. And you hit and then enter, and you've got VLC right here. So what you do is you click on it, you hit install, and then you hit it'll put it down here in the actual actuation, then you hit the check mark for apply to make it so, and then you hit yes. Now it's going to ask you for root privileges, because you will set up a root account as well as a user account, and you'll have to assign the wheel in the wheel groups in the DOS installer, which that's why I'm going to do an overview and a step-by-step video on how to install this for those of you that want to do that. And so and then you simply hit OK. And away it goes. As you can see, it's downloading and installing. Now, one thing I am going to tell you that is kind of a bit of a letdown on this Void Linux. As fast as the software is on your desktop, I can only imagine this isn't a VM, so it's got, I assigned it 6 cores of my machine and 8 gigs of RAM, and it's snappy. And I have 100 megabit internet here, so the downloading and installing of software can take a while, as you can see, and that's one thing. And I looked to see if there's any way of speeding it up, like in Arch you can edit the Pac-Man, and even Peru, you can edit the config file to do maximum parallel downloads from 5 to like 10 to 15 or whatever, and that speeds it up. However, on this, there is no speeding it up. There's no set downloads. I think it's set in when it compiles. There's no editing it or fixing it in the actual config file. So that's the one thing that any developers out there that may see this, that I would suggest you guys, give the user a little bit more control over, because like to install the KDE desktop, we all know that KDE desktop has a lot of dependencies, as well as the program itself is a large program, and so it took a minute, because I did install on here to test drive it, and it took a minute to do that, which was kind of interesting in how long it took. It almost took like 20 to 30 minutes. And that's just to me, that's kind of unacceptable in this day, especially when it's as fast as it is as far as a Linux distribution. So, at any instance, that's how we got, we install VLC. I digressed, I'm sorry. So we'll close that out, and then we're going to go over here to applications. We're going to go over here to multimedia, and look, we have VLC. We're going to click, look, instantly opens. I mean, it is lightning fast. Is that not so? I mean, let's do that again. Applications, go to multimedia, VLC, bam, instant. I mean, it is fast. I really like this distribution. There is in settings where you can change, like the window managers, and the panel opacity and stuff like that, which I kind of customize this a little bit. It is customizable, and even the terminal, which you can add a background image. Like, so if I click on this dock down here, and we hit this, look, see, this is me. It does not come with NeoFetch. NeoFetch I downloaded and installed, as well as HTOP. And all to get it to open in your terminal, all you do is you edit your bash RC file, and you just type in NeoFetch at the end. You go down to the bottom, type in NeoFetch, save it, exit, open up your terminal, and there it is. And you have NeoFetch installed. So what I did do is I went through to the edit, preferences, clicked on appearance. Here you could set the, right here, if you notice right here is where I set the background image that's in there. There's all kinds of stuff you can, edit in here to make it what it is, to look and feel, how, different things. So as you play around with it, have fun, figure out how to do that. And the opacity for the menu bar, I went to the panel, I went to panel preferences, under appearances, and over here where the opacity is at is where I set it to enters when it's, if you hold on, it's like the inactive when it's in resting state, and then when leave is when it's being played with. So whenever I post my mouse over it, it becomes darker. When I leave, it becomes fainter. So those are some just mild, customizations that I made to it to make it a little bit more better for me and what my appearance is. I'm a minimalistic theming kind of guy and customization kind of guy. I've did all the ricing and stuff when I used to be a heavy KDE guy and use it all the time. Did all the ricing and stuff, and oftentimes updates will come and wind up breaking it, so you spend a lot more time re-ricing, or sometimes it's just broken beyond belief and you have to completely redo your whole thing. So I just kind of learned to set the defaults, make it to where it's tolerable for me, and used it in a lovely kind of way, and very loving way, because I love Linux. And so so if you guys are a racing kind of guy or a racing kind of person, you can certainly play around with it more. And this is basically your GTK, so your basic GTK 4. So in your racing, you just apply all your GTK 4 methods here. To do whatever racing it is that you want to do. In KDE, it's your typical KDE, which allows you to literally race whatever you want in there because it's so customizable in that aspect. So it's your standard normal stuff. And of course, you can, figure out and do other things by, if you don't know or look into it, I always suggest do a nice friendly Google search, and the guru of Googles will definitely turn up a plethora of information on how you can rice certain other aspects of this. In your panel, up top is your standard panel. Like I said, you got your launcher over here. And then over here in the right-hand corner, you've got your user, which gives you your power commands to log out, shut down, suspend, lock the screen, whichever. It's got your time and date. And then your notifications over here. This is your XBPS, Octo XBPS notifier. So if you have any system updates, this will appear, and it'll have a little dot under it, or it'll turn a different color to tell you that there's a system update available. Of course, you got your usual icons over here, such as your Ethernet, your battery power, and your notifications. If you click on notifications, it pulls down any notifications that you have. There are no notifications as well. It's very simple. I really have grown impressed with this little distribution of Linux. It's very lightweight. In fact, let's go ahead and let's go over here and sorry, that's the file manager. Oh, doing all right. I clicked on the wrong thing. Let's open the command and let's type in htop. And right here, I mean, we're using basically like half a gig of RAM. Barely touching. I'm only using like nothing of my CPU. I mean, like maybe like 8, 9%. It's very lightweight, very nice. I really enjoy this as far as minimalistic and resources that it uses. It's extremely lightweight and flexible. I'm very impressed with this. I could definitely recommend this one 100% to any user out there. Except for I would definitely have a little pause on the newbie, new to Linux user, because of just simply the installation process. The installation process is the only hang up I have on it. It like I said, it's a graphical, it's a command line installer, so it is one of those that you just want to know kind of how to do that. Maybe watch a couple videos on it first before you attempt it, or if you're a new guy and you're kind of comfortable with using a virtual machine, definitely try doing a dry run on installing it in a virtual machine scenario first. However, you have to do the EFI, enable the EFI in your virtual machine. I'm going to do it through Virt Manager to show people how to do it on Virt Manager, but like VirtualBox and any VMware stations or whichever, you may have to do a Google search on how to enable that and follow those step-by-step instructions. That's basically a look at XFCE Void Linux, which is, I'd say, a very amazing little Linux distribution. It's fast, it's smooth, it's customizable. All the popular desktop environments are there for you guys to install and set up and configure the way that you like it if you're one of those guys. In fact, I'm going to log out and I'm going to log into the KDE session for you so you guys can see. This is what you look like when you log out. Standard, light DM, log out, display manager. So we're going to log out. And this is your light DM. So you go down here to the bottom left. You change from XFCE. We're going to Plasma X. We're going to hit Alex. And then we're going to type in my secret password. And we're going to log in. And look at that. Just like that, we're logging into the KDE. Now, as you can see, I've customized it. Typical, under system settings, is where you can customize it to do what you want, to set it up how you like it. I hate the bright white stuff, but this is your standard, typical KDE desktop environment. So, with your standard PIN, which is usually your system settings, your file manager, and your Firefox browser. And then you have over here in your system tray, you have your clipboard, your volume manager, which is your audio volume and uses Pavoo control. Your Ethernet and networks, if you click on it, you shows up like that. And then your notifications are right there. You got your time and date, and then show desktop for if you open anything at all. Now, I haven't installed any other programs other than the standard suite that comes with the KDE. It comes very minimalistic, as you can see. It doesn't come with all the standard true KDE, like Kdenlive, Kwallet, all the other stuff that your KDE ones install. It just has what's installed on your computer. So I installed like the Octo XBPS package manager. It opens it up right there in it. So it doesn't use Discover, doesn't download and install Discover at all. So it's basically every program that you had on the XFCE version of the base system installed, and there it is. So that in and of itself is a look at Void Linux, the flexibility that it has, and basically the usage of it for doing that. So let's go to open up the XFCE terminal. Now let's do to install. You want to type sudo XBPS-install. You want to give it the capital S Y flag, and then let's say OBS. Okay, and then you're going to hit install. You're going to give it your super secret password. It's updating the repository. That's what the S flag does. It syncs the repository. The XBPS package must be updated. Please run the XBPS install XBPS. Okay, so now we're going to have to do sudo XBPS dash install dash XBPS. Oh, I forgot the space, sorry. Space, then hit enter. Yes. Now it's downloading and updating packages. So now we'll do the second one. And there it is. It is now installing OBS. There it is. It's all installed. And there you have it. That's how you install a package from the command line. Once again, if you're not comfortable with doing that, you can certainly go here, go to system, and applications, and you want to look for XBPS. Octo XBPS package manager, which is basically like your Synaptic. You can type in whatever it is that you want. You could also search by name and by description, whatever you want in there to install and download your packages that are available in the XBPS repo. Once again, if it's something like Chrome, it's not going to be in there because it's a non-free repo. That's in the non-free repo, and to install that, you simply type in and go into Google and do a Google search on how to install that repo. There's plenty of documentation out there on that, and then you can install your non-free software. So that's a brief overlook of the Void Linux systemd free that uses the run init system. I highly recommend it. Like I said, I highly recommend it to Linux users. I hold pause on the newbies because of the graphical command line installer, but once I do the video on how to do it, and I'll go through step by step on how to do it, I'll feel comfortable recommending it to them then and refer them to that video to how to do the installation. But other than that, it is a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful Linux system. Hey, go ahead and please like, share, and comment below any thoughts that you have on this, any suggestions that you have on this to make it better in any way, shape, or form if you're a Void Linux user. Also, visit us on our Patreon page and support us there if you can. Buy us a cup of coffee or whatever it is that you feel like doing over there. Or you could, join our page here and subscribe however you like here as well to support us here. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a great and safe, happy 4th of July and a great day, and keep on Linuxing. Enjoy what you do.